Do you have the intro going? Or are we live?
You are live.
We are live. All right. Well, welcome to the Plank Podcast. Today, it's number 12. Today we have Mike Carbone from the good old Drummer's Journey, the candy store, everything else, I don't know, that I talk about. It's an oasis in the middle of the Midwest. It's like, why is this here? Where did this come from? This guy's got a lot of explaining to do. That's all I got to say about that. And then we're also going to do a Radio King. It's one of the limited editions that I've been seeing. It's the LE version of a snare drum that I bought from there a couple of weeks ago, and it's mainly for the boy. And I know he's never going to watch this, so I'm not too worried about it. So we're going to talk as much as we can about what's going on with the Radio King stuff and whatever else. But, you know, I just can't wait to get into this one. And we have to thank again the voice of God in the back there, Mr. Nick Higginson. Or the voice of God. Doing all the production, everything else for us. So this is where we need laugh tracks and clap tracks and stuff like that. So leave some comments below. We got some shirts to give away and everything else. But let's get to Mike here. Mike, how you doing today? And thanks for coming on.
Hey, I'm doing great. I've been in many modes today.
Many modes.
Many, not many.
Okay, well it is almost 4.
Yeah,
so.
I ran a drum circle for a while.
Yes,
and then
which I still need to get to.
I went and spoke at a memorial event for a very dear old friend of mine that was very supportive of my band back in the day.
That's great.
And it was a joyous event, which is what she would have wanted.
Okay.
And now I'm here.
Now you're here. Oh, yes, man of many hats. Yeah. But first thing I want to just talk about yourself for a few here. It's like, what have you been up to lately? And
well,
what's been going on?
Been working in the drum shop,
I've been hearing
obviously.
About a new project too, but you know.
Yeah, I have a new project going, and I've got my old project, my old band, the Blue Wailers.
The Blue Wailers.
This is great timing for us because we've been trying to only play once a month. And we're playing the last week of this month and the first week of next month.
There you go.
I got 2 gigs coming up. On Thursday coming up, we've got the Hanson Arts Park in Jamestown for their summer concert series. And we've done that for years, and they know how to sweet talk us. They tell us, you're the highlight of our whole summer. So
out of Jamestown.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. And then the following week we are at the Blues Fest.
Very good.
And we are there, and I did a little calculating earlier this year by looking at all the lineups over the years.
Yes.
And I've appeared in the Blues Fest in 3 different bands over the years. I have appeared in that Blues Festival more than any other musician on the planet. More times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a great distinction or not, but
I think it is. How long has that thing been going on? It's been going on since I've been in high school.
Yeah, it's over 25 years.
Oh, a minimum of high school is 30 years ago. So
yeah,
I've dated myself.
That's about right. And I think I had told you this once that I had quit playing for a while and was doing the married thing, construction worker thing, and all that. Went to the Blues Fest and watched that, the first one.
Yep.
And I watched it and I said, I need to get up there. And 5 years later, I was playing that festival.
Now, Johnny Winter's been there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple times.
Did you get to meet him?
Yes, but not.
No, just kind of passing.
Right. But my real Johnny Winter story is I have done and do fill-in work sometimes with Sean Holt and the Teardrops.
Okay.
That's Magic Slim's legacy band. Magic Slim of Chicago blues fame.
There we go.
And Sean was playing in the Teardrops with his dad on tour as Johnny Winter's opening act when Sean's dad died.
Oh, wow.
Magic Slim died on the road opening for Johnny, and Johnny called Sean into his hotel room and said, man, I know this is really hard for you, but I need you to take over for your dad's band and represent him and finish this tour. And Sean did it. And that was
pride in it, I bet, too.
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure. And I'm proud that I've been a little minuscule
you got to be a part of it.
Piece of that at a time or two. But yeah, I sitting around with Sean and oh yeah, here's Sean at my house. There's Sean or Johnny. Here's Johnny sitting on Sean's couch. You know,
You get part of
hanging
this,
out.
just little bits of pieces of just history there, but you can still say that you were a part of that, and that's where the great stories come from.
Yeah.
So that's why it's fun having you down here. Is you're definitely a great piece of history that's going to be happening. Well, it's happening as we speak, as we go along. Not to get out of like all the blues fest and stuff like that, but I don't know, my mind just keeps going back to the drum shop. Is how did you do that? That's really where I'm at. I'm just like,
Well,
okay, it came about, and then you have like the guitar shop, and I was like, okay, we're really I think we're getting over our skis, guys. That thing is built up. Every time I go in there, there's more stuff. There's more cool stuff to look at. And, oh my God. And everybody talks about it everywhere you go.
I appreciate hearing that. I put everything back into it. So I'm not taking home a big paycheck, but the store is getting the attention that it needs.
But you're able to live, and yeah.
Well, yeah. I am alive.
It's good to know.
And a big part of it is having a great team.
Okay.
Scott Lang.
Yeah. We'll be on next week.
Yep. Trevor Pearson. I've got Ryan Ortez right now.
Okay.
Matt Tingham.
Yes.
And so these are all pro-level players that are dedicated to making this work.
Oh, it's just like where it started, and then I just kept seeing you grow and grow and grow, and I'm just like, how is this happening? And it's like, well, the internet's a great thing. That's what you're going to get from Lang. But I'm just like, yeah, I've dealt with the internet for, since it came out, but it's just like.
Well, and see, we have three.
There's got to be more to it than that.
Well, a lot of it's my vision.
That's the whole thing.
And
like,
here
where
it
did
is.
it come from?
I have three platforms
Okay.
that I feel that I can market on. One is the retail store. People walk in, walk out, walk in, walk out. Some days we bring in $15. Some days we bring in 10,000.
But they bring. That's the dream.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
and then there's an online platform called Reverb.
Yep.
And Reverb is a great platform for selling vintage and used gear.
Yes.
Okay, and so we have a strong presence there. And then there is our own e-commerce website. That is limping along, but it's getting better, and that is very work intensive. But it's also where some of the best potential lies. And that's kind of where a lot of my attention is focused on getting that into shape and operating properly. We've got two platforms that are operating quite well right now. Reverb and the store.
Yeah.
And then we're working on the third.
And what do you have plans for the third? 'Cause I've been on there a few times. Links down below, by the way. So.
Yeah. Well, most of it is getting a better inventory control system so all the listings are up to date and ready and current.
Okay.
So we have people that visit the website and they go, I'm not sure,
Yep.
And they'll maybe call. But so it's keeping up with all that, the thousands and thousands of SKUs that we offer.
That's the whole thing, yeah.
And
Like
so
I said,
it's
a
really,
candy store.
yeah, it's really tough for that type of retail business to do online, though. It's labor intensive. But with AI and things like that, we're bringing in technology, and we're gonna improve all that. And if we get that third platform working as well as the other two, we'll have something.
Oh, well, you already do have something, Mike. But no, that'd just be really well. Intensify that, yeah. So you have like the tripod, so definitely it won't tip over. And then the only thing I can think of is just like Menards and all those places that have like, here's how many we have back in inventory. And I'm just like, how do they do that? But you're talking about AI. We'll get into that later.
And
I love talking AI now.
It's there are platforms or programs that'll do all that stuff for you.
Oh, really? And just automatically just stick it in for you.
But it's automatic by the time you get it set up, and then make corrections later, and it's still quite labor intensive.
Oh, I'm sure.
If we had 50 SKUs, it would be easy, but with tens of thousands, it gets tough. And you have to have that because you got this size tension rods, this size tension rods, this size tension rods. You got
All
this
different
this
SKUs.
color of sleeved washers, that color of sleeved washers. You've got all these drums, all this hardware. It never ends. Hundreds of head choices that we have to.
Yeah, you have to keep that in stock, especially to compete. So
Right.
yeah.
And so another thing that we're going to be working on, and God, I'd love to hear feedback from your listeners on this, is a subscription service through our website, which would be Sticks and Heads.
Oh, interesting.
Every 3
I
months,
hadn't even thought of that.
every 3 months, we drop a dozen of your favorite pair of sticks, or 2 dozen, or half a dozen, whatever it is. And, different players have different rates of stick usage.
Yeah, it makes
But
sense.
just make it automatic. Throw in an extra something to make it worth their while to subscribe. But now, no worries. You always got your sticks. They always come. They come on the dates you select.
Yeah.
Same with heads. A pro drummer needs to keep his heads changed, fresh, ready. Well, if you know that every 3 months you're getting a brand new set of your
Or it's a nice
EC2s
subtle
or whatever.
reminder that you should change out them dirty things.
Yeah, you better do that, And that's funny because we get a lot of drummers say, I haven't changed my heads in 3 years and they sound great. And
Kind of like
I go,
bass strings, right, Nick?
Yeah. and I always have to tell them, yeah, they sound okay to you, but if you changed them, you would be amazed.
It is. Every time you put fresh heads on, you're like, oh, that's what it's supposed to sound like.
Right, exactly. It's because they stretch so gradually that your ears don't perceive the change. It's not like one day the head's fine and the next day it's not.
Yep.
It just gradually stretches and loses its ability to reverberate at that nice, even keel.
Exactly. Yeah. And I bet people like Nick who run sound would really appreciate that too. But that's a great idea. I just ordered a dozen sticks from you guys like a couple weeks ago, and I'm just trying to get ahead of myself. But if he had it on something like that, you don't have to think about it. Oh,
Right.
it's just like that razor company thing. It's the exact same idea. Yeah.
Exactly. And
That's a great idea.
it would be a benefit to us because we'd look at our subscriptions and we'd go,
Yeah.
okay, we've got 12 people using Fire Grain 5B. There we go. Now we know. We know what we need to have and when we need to have it.
Yeah. Dang it. Get that going. I want to get on that.
All right.
I really do.
All right,
That'd
man.
be-
That's encouraging to me because that was my idea.
I could really use something like that instead of like every once in a while, like, oh gosh, I'm down to like 2 sticks. Now I got to figure out where I'm going to go and get them. And then, do you have them? And then you have all that going on.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And most people, if you're not a drummer, you don't appreciate the struggle that sticks can be.
Yeah, that's true.
What sticks do I use? What do I use for this? What do I use for that? How come he uses those? What's better about those than these? And
So many choices.
It may sound silly, but it's not because the stick choices are all different. And they do different things, react differently in your hands. Everybody has different hand mechanics, different hand size, different technique, everything. And so you got to have sticks that work for you.
Exactly. That really helps. That's a really cool idea, a really cool concept. But what brought this all about in the first place? Is like you just decided we needed a drum store? I decided that in the late 90s, and I just couldn't get anyone to get on board.
It's been tried a couple times after Marguerite's closed, but it never really took off. But part of it, I think, is not visioning the whole concept properly.
Okay.
Because if you just want to open up a retail location and sell drums in town, you're going to sell some.
That's going to be scary, yeah.
But that's going to be scary. It's going to be really hard. And so the timing had to be right in that the technology had to exist, the national marketplace had to exist. I mean, we're going to talk about these Slingerland snares later.
Yes.
I'd sent one to Switzerland.
Out of Fargo to Switzerland.
Out of Fargo to Switzerland.
Yep.
We have found, figured out that there's a buyer in Chicago who buys drums all over the country, vintage drums,
Okay.
sends them to a drum shop in Kyiv, Ukraine. Seriously. and we have some of our drums have ended up there.
Oh, really?
And while we were figuring this out and we were on their site and looking at all the drums that they sell in this drum shop.
They just vintage stuff, huh?
Well, yeah, vintage and high quality used. And
Okay.
they had a Ludwig Vistalite, blue Vistalite, original John Bonham snare drum.
Okay.
And we're going, wow, look at this Vistalite. Man, gorgeous. It's in great shape. And we're looking at it, going through the pictures. Well, isn't that a Marguerite sticker on this snare drum?
Those Marguerite stickers come out of every... I bet if we look hard in this room, we'll find Marguerite stickers.
Oh, I bet you would.
There's one.
The back of both of these.
Exactly. And so...
The voice of God, Nick, is off camera.
You know, and that was the thing with Margarita. She didn't embrace the internet.
No, we
And
figured
that's-
that out at the very end there, yeah.
Yeah, that was her biggest challenge. But we embrace the internet. We do it right. I think we've mentioned Scott Lang. Scott is my sales manager. Scott's a great drummer, October Road.
Yes.
Great guy. Tremendous amount of integrity. and Scott will take detailed photos, get them up on the Reverb site with accurate descriptions, and make accurate assessments of the condition.
He's such a hardware nerd. It's just great.
Yeah.
You can ask him any questions.
He's a big part of that success. He can't do all of the online stuff, so he's focusing on Reverb, but he does day-to-day in the store. I do day-to-day in the store. Trevor and Ryan do weekends in the store. And, well, I do weekends too. But anyway.
That's what we're talking about, that 7-day-a-week work ethic that you have going on there. It's like you'd rather be doing that than construction. And we were making fun of my little tan line because I had to get back and do some actual 9-to-5 job. So I've been working at the Park District for all summer long, but hopefully I'll be done at the end of this year again. But so, and you were just talking about how grateful you are that you're not swinging a hammer or doing all that fun stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I did for many years, and then I gave that up, and I actually went on, did my master's studies and things like that, but did nonprofit management, and was a homeless advocate for a long time, and managed, millions of dollars in grants and stuff, and I retired from that, and got bored. I did some.
I can't wait for that day.
I did some consulting, and the consulting work was like, my goal was I wanted to consult with nonprofits who were seeking excellence. That was my vision, but my reality was I was being engaged by nonprofits who were trying to get their ass out of trouble.
Interesting.
Grant compliance issues.
Okay, yeah.
It's like, HUD's taking away our money. And so I'd have to write a plan, have them follow the plan.
You have to be creative right off the cuff there. So so that makes a lot more sense how this is working.
Right. So I gradually moved out of that, and one day I thought, I got that. I'm too young still, too healthy. Got to do something, and so a drum shop. That's it. It was about like that. And I entered into it, some help from my sister, and just been pouring everything back into it. And it's a mission of love, but it has a real purpose. One of the things that we talk about at the store and that we want to accomplish is we want to create better drummers, or facilitate better drummers.
Precisely.
It's not just about selling a guy some gear. Here, buy this, see ya.
Thanks.
No. We've got all kinds of events. You host one of the events in a pad circle down there.
I do.
And so we do a lot of things like that are designed to develop drummers' skill levels. I mean, we've had some of the world's top drummers come in for classes and teach in our store. And so what we want to do is make the Fargo-Moorhead music scene better by making the drummers better. Drummers drive the band.
That's what they say.
We drive the drummers.
That's what they say, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's that meme that keeps coming up lately. It's just like, you're only as good as your drummer. And then I seen one for the bass player, too. I don't know if I believe that. Nick's not going to respond.
But, the thing...
I know what I'm good at.
The thing is, like, with my band, the Blue Wailers,
Yep.
it's a blues band. It's a traditional blues band.
Yeah.
And in a traditional blues band, the drummer drives the blues train, and that's what I'm doing, is I'm driving that blues train. But there's a lot of other stuff going on, but it's that energy, that
Makes
thing
the
that
people dance.
propels it forward, gets them on their feet. That's the drummer. And so that's the point behind that. And there are other drumming concepts that I know you're well aware of. The invisible drummer kind of thing, where everything is so far underneath and so...
Well, it just holds everything together. Yeah, it becomes the catalyst.
But isn't really a part of the conversation, And that's one way to do it.
It is a conversation, yes.
But it is, yeah, it is. It's always a conversation. And, I snuck a mention of my band, the Blue Wailers, back in there, but I wanted
another one.
I wanted to tell you a bit about another project I've got going.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. We've got billboards all over town already, though. I have a new band called Shackled by Lust.
Shackled by Lust.
So just see our billboards are actually all over the United States, but and we do own the name.
Beautiful.
But it's a rock band.
Okay.
And I've got Dan Fuca on guitar.
Oh, Dan! We got to get Fuca back on here, yeah.
Yeah, Lisa Corkman on vocals.
Okay.
We've got a guy named Scott Anderson on bass. Scott's been around town for only 4 or 5 years.
Not familiar with the name, though.
And Scott came up... I'm not even sure where Scott came from, but he's around. And I met him in my store 2 years ago. And I said, "Oh, yeah, I ought to have you come in and host a jam, blah, blah, blah." And I told him all this stuff. And then he met him another time. He said, "No, we met before." He said, "Don't you remember?" And I go, "Oh, God, I'm
Don't
sorry."
feel bad. Oh, my gosh, it happens to me so many times.
And I was trying to, put together a project. I said, "Well, would you be interested in this?" And he said, "Oh, yeah." Guy's pure joy to work with.
Oh, nice.
You got a great work ethic, I hope your bass player is listening. But no.
Yeah. I wonder if he's a joy to work with. We love you, Nick.
But no, Scotty always prepared and great personality and all that stuff. And then we've got son of an old dear friend.
Okay.
Who's playing percussion. He's playing congas. And it's Jeremiah Johnson. And Jerry Johnson.
Why do I know that name?
Jerry Johnson was a bass player in this town until he passed away. He played with Dan Fuca.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the name came from.
Yeah. He played with Dan for a long time. And Jerry was one of the most extraordinary bass players to ever come from this area. Just an incredible player. And so his son, who I knew as a baby, is now the conguero in my band. So we got me up there on a six-piece drum kit and him with 3-piece congas and a bunch of other percussion. And so we got some drive. And then we've got another guy that's new to me named Rob McLean, who is moved here from Denver, but before that, England, Great Britain.
Oh, really?
And he's playing keys with us, and he's our newest member.
How did they end up in Fargo? Or North Dakota?
I'm afraid to ask questions like that. But
he's interested.
He's also working out great. So we're just rehearsing, and we rehearse in my store on Monday nights at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So for the price of admission, you could hear us get ready. But we're just really getting started on it. We're probably got about 10 songs together right now.
That's great, though.
And we've got some kind of things we're doing. I don't want to call them medleys. They're more like mashups,
Yeah.
And sometimes a band will do a medley because everybody wants to hear these certain request items, so you put all 6 of them together and you just do them and get them out of the way with.
Yep.
No, we're not doing that. We're doing stuff that relates and is cool, and like one, for example, is what's that? Little Less Conversation, an old Elvis song.
Okay.
Except we're doing a version by a Spanish artist who has it up tempo and a little bit funkier feel to it.
Some flavor in there.
And, and she's got a great feel to it. And then there's a pretty good drum break in there. And that drum break goes right into Satisfaction by the Stones.
Oh, God.
And then there's a drum break in Satisfaction, which goes right back into Little Less Conversation.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So they're thematic, and it's not like jump from one to the other, And so, and this is not going to happen, but I love this idea so much I have to throw it out there.
Yes.
I heard a mashup the other day when I was driving to work. It's one of those things that you're listening to in your car and you get to your destination and you stay in the car till you're done listening to it.
Oh, yeah. That's Good Faith No More.
And it was a guy, and I didn't catch the artist, but he did a mashup of Hot Rod Lincoln and Purple Haze. How does that work? I see that question on your face. Yeah, exactly. How does that work? Well, in Hot Rod Lincoln, he gets chased by the cops, right?
Yep.
And they modified the lyrics to where, first he sees, a cow in the road. And the guy makes cow noises on his guitar. Oh, now it's a little cow, and it's calf noises. And he goes, and then all of a sudden, he's chicken picking, so that he's seeing the chickens, And then and then he goes, and now it's a purple van full of girls. Wait a minute, those aren't girls. They got long hair and beards. Them's hippies. And they're driving slow. And then all of a sudden it's Purple Haze.
Yeah.
And then he's yelling and swearing at the hippies in the purple van. And
that's where the show comes in.
And then all of a sudden it's back to Hot Rod Lincoln. And I'm like, a mashup between Hot Rod Lincoln and Purple Haze. Who would have thought it? Well, somebody did. I wish I could credit this artist, but yeah, somebody did, and they executed it brilliantly.
That's the fun part about just music in general, how you can just turn that stuff into like a showpiece like that. Oh man. Yeah. Instead of just doing tune after tune after tune.
So that's what we're working on with Shackled by Lust.
Awesome. Oh, I can't wait to see you guys get out there. I got to go and check that out.
Yeah, for sure.
Really do.
I'm eager. I'm really eager.
So Shackled by Lust, you got a website yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. We do have the domain.
So this is definitely breaking news.
Right on. Yeah.
So sweet. Let's get into this Radio King thing here because you were telling me and my boys, in the very beginning, we came in there and he was talking about his Purple Flame double kick set that he had in the back of the place, and I still have the picture on my phone because it's the original. Not somebody who just took a Purple Flame coverings and put it over the top of some Slingerland drums. His original deal. It's probably worth more in my house. That's okay.
It's worth a bit, but not that much.
But it's like so the boy keeps coming back in. Why he likes Slingerland? Devin, I don't know what your deal is with Slingerland on that. And I know it's not Ludwig, but I've never brought Ludwig into the house. I don't understand this whole deal. I've always had like Pearl and Yamaha and all the other fun stuff. So then he came home for Christmas last winter, and you were telling us about this Slingerland thing that was happening in the store. And we'll curtail to the drum that I probably shouldn't have purchased, but I had to purchase it because I had to purchase it. So it was one of those things. Yeah. So what was going on with that? Because we know that. I'll get out of the way.
Let's just start with some Slingerland history.
Yeah.
Slingerland started in 1912.
Okay.
But didn't really become a drum company until
Really,
the early
banjos or something like
20s.
that?
They started with banjos.
Ha.
Now banjos
Got it.
are related to drums.
Yep.
That the body is got a calfskin head on it and a hollow shell and the whole bit. So they started as a banjo company. I think it was about 22, became a drum company. They bought another drum company that a lesser known,
Okay.
and took over manufacturing. And
Can you look that up there, Nick?
Sure.
Yeah.
and so then they had their first snares looked a lot like banjos, like banjo bodies.
Okay.
And in fact, I had one in the store the other day, and I didn't know I had it. We took it on trade, and I didn't really pay attention to it, and it was on the shelf. And a guy came up and bought it, and he hands it to me and says, "Yeah, I want to buy this." And I looked at it. If I would have known that drum was in my store, he would have never bought it.
I think I was looking at that too, so I'll have to ask Scott because I was checking
Yeah.
out something that was early Slingerland.
But it was their first snare. But
Okay.
it went to a guy who's going to appreciate it, take care of it. So I'm okay with it. But
That come from the Christensen collection then? I think that's what it was.
It did.
Yep.
It did. And so there's that. But Slingerland then developed drums over the years that in most people's minds were geared towards playing jazz. And like their first endorser was Gene Krupa.
That's why the boy likes it so much. Okay.
Buddy Rich was also an endorser.
That's another reason for it too.
Louis Belson.
He doesn't talk about Louis.
Yeah. Well,
Louis is double kick.
yeah,
got his autograph.
Louis is double kick, and who was it? Duke Ellington
Okay.
said of Louis Belson, Louis Belson is the greatest drummer, no, the greatest musician alive. If
not
Duke
clear
Ellington
there.
says that about you, I mean, that you can take that to the bank, literally to the bank. And so, get your son listening and talking about Louis.
Okay. I'll do that.
But-
I'll have to pull out the autograph. He came to, it was some jazz thing. I think it was late 90s.
Yeah.
He was the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Just the nicest guy. And I still have the thing signed. I find it every once in a while. Like, oh, yeah, I got this.
Over at MSUM.
I think it was a Morris. That
Okay.
sound right?
Yeah, it could be.
It wasn't in town.
He's been in town though too. But
I don't doubt that.
And anyway, Slingerland then was real popular among jazz drummers, and the reason being the shells were mahogany,
Okay.
mahogany maple, mahogany poplar, and so they had that deep, warm tone that jazz drummers like a lot. And then they had 30-degree double cut bearing edges with super round over, so you get a ton of shell tone off of them. And their
There's game footage right there.
their workmanship, the quality of materials, everything, which you'll see when we pull this out.
Okay.
Second to none. In fact, they became the drum company that other companies copied. Now, there were other companies that ran on parallel tracks, Ludwig being one,
Okay.
Rogers being another.
Yep.
Ludwig, Slingerland, Rogers. I'm missing somebody, but those were
Camco?
Gretsch, of course.
Gretsch. There we go.
How can I play 3 Gretsch kits? Not at one time, but 3, and forget Gretsch. But and Gretsch, more similar to Slingerland, used the more blunt, rounded bearing edges.
Okay.
And they appealed to jazz drummers as well. And so Gretsch is actually almost 40 years older than Slingerland. Gretsch is
Let that sink in for a
yeah,
second.
Gretsch is a
Okay.
140-year-old drum company in the same family the whole time. Slingerland, unfortunately, I think Bud Slingerland was the original guy, and they didn't eventually he lost control of the company, and I can't really talk about that too well educated, but he didn't have the company anymore in the 1970s, and then it got sold to Gibson Guitars in the 80s.
Okay.
Those were dark, dark days for Slingerland. Guitar companies don't care about drum. It's a whim. It's an add-on. It's a name.
Yep.
And then Slingerland kind of went away. All the intellectual property still existed and still had ownership. All of the machinery and everything still existed.
That's obvious. See this thing, yeah.
And there were shells and stuff out there. But 6, maybe 7 years ago, the Lombardi family bought it. And that would be Don Lombardi, founder, owner of DW Drums. And DW Drums actually started as a teaching studio and then started making drums and all this stuff. And he a Slingerland devotee. And Don didn't buy it. His family bought it and gave it to Don as a birthday present.
Oh, seriously?
Seriously.
That is a cool story right there.
So you get all the rights, all the manufacturing rights, the intellectual property rights, everything to Slingerland as a birthday present from your family who knows how you feel about Slingerland.
Yeah.
And so now Slingerland's owned, but not really in existence. There's no drums being manufactured. And Lombardi, they gave it to him because they knew that this was going to be a project of love for him. And he took his time to develop everything just right. And, oh gosh, it's almost 2 years ago, they flew a bunch of their top dealers out to Oxnard, California.
Okay.
And I was among them. And that's because they were introducing the DWE, the high-end DW electronic kits.
Which you have at the store.
Which we have at the store.
Yes,
and
I was talking about yesterday.
They selected us to be a dealer for this part of the country. And there's 3 levels of DW dealers. DWE,
Okay.
DW drums, and DW hardware. If you're DWE, you have everything. If you're DW drums, you have drums and hardware. And if you're DW hardware, you sell hardware. And
Sort of get on a side quest. Like, how did you get into these circles? But we'll get back to that.
Well,
if I remember.
A lot of it's just by, doing good work.
That's obvious.
But they called me in along with some other dealers, and they introduced the DWE, and then they said, and then they announced the grandson was joining the company, so 3 generations of Lombardis at DW, and then they're all having this family moment.
Oh.
And they said, well, we weren't really going to do this, but... And they pulled out a Radio King snare, Slingerland snare. And they said, this is next on the horizon. And they had a beautiful white marine pearl 5-inch snare. I was fortunate enough to be the one sitting closest to the guy who pulled the snare out. And I'm like, and he let me hold it.
On there.
And I said, oh, this would fit in my suitcase. And he said, no, it wouldn't. and we were promptly informed that these are not available. These are embargoed, but they're on the horizon. Go back to your store, make plans. Don't tell anybody.
Okay.
Well, of course, word gets out a little bit here and there, and rumors are out there. But the details aren't out there. And then the day comes. We're going to start shipping 2 months down the road. Put in your orders now. And they selected, what was it, 50 dealers worldwide. And my store was fortunate enough to be among those, to be approached and asked to take this on. And there was a requirement, though. You got to do a full buy-in on the product, which at this point they were making 8 snares, 50 of each.
Yep.
So that's 400 snares. Worldwide.
That's
so
crazy.
So 50 dealers each got 8 snares. 50 times 8, 400. And so they had 4 finishes. The 8 snares come from 4 finishes, traditional Slingerland finishes, in 2 sizes. So you've got blue and silver Duco, which is stunningly gorgeous.
That's the thing they kept calling me.
Yeah.
So I'll tell my story in a bit.
Right now it looks like a box, but it'll look like a drum soon.
Yep, it will.
And then they've got a black and gold Duco, which is the same except different colors, but same finish. And then a white marine pearl, which is a traditional, and a black diamond pearl, which is also traditional. Well, I remember in about 1972, 3, trading in my Ludwig kit on a black diamond pearl Slingerland double bass kit. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh my God.
And then I...
Real equipment.
Yeah, and then I sold it later for much less than it was worth, and that's how I ended up later going after that purple kit that I showed you that you mentioned. But so when the snares came, the very first snare that they shipped to me was a black diamond pearl. And I thought, well, I know where this one's going. and I bought it, and I put it in my shelf collection. I've got a lot of drums, not nearly as many as some drummers, and I get a good deal on them, but I pay for them. I have to, keep my store alive, so I pay for them. But so I bought the first one, and then waited for the next ones and the next ones. Then we eventually got the other 7, and they were each one stunning. And one of the biggest, bestest features, to use my greatest grammar, is
It's all good.
is the shell. The shell is a solid shell. Most drums are ply.
One ply.
This is one maple ply.
Yep.
And DW partnered with Craviato, who are the solid shell, the premier solid shell makers in the world. So Craviato actually makes the shells themselves.
That's okay.
You got to work together in something like that. If this guy's got more expertise than you,
that's crazy.
Why aren't you using that guy?
It was 30 years ago. Well, maybe not that long ago. Maybe 20 years ago. I had a person I used to work with. Well, I work with him now again in the Park District, and he used to make his own dog sleds. So he had a steamer, so he was able to steam bend all of the skis and stuff.
Nice.
So we were trying to figure out. I was like, I knew about the one ply bend for the Slingerlands, and we were trying to figure out how to make that drum so we could sell them out of here. We could not get that shell to come. Oh my gosh!
It's really really
there's
difficult.
Something goes into that. Yeah,
they're
you
really
get it around. It
really
wouldn't be round.
Exactly. Try putting a drum head on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that wasn't going to happen.
So the snares came in, and now you bought one. I bought one. I mentioned a guy in Switzerland who bought one.
Yeah, so did you get like one of each finish?
We got 2 of each finish,
but
in different sizes.
Okay, so this is the only version of this that came up into this area.
That's right.
Well, that's even
of
cooler.
This, there's only 40,
Devin, you're welcome whenever you watch this.
There's only 49 more in the entire world.
Exactly. After I saw that, I'm just...
So this is a labor of love by a man who is among one of the top drum builders in the world.
Okay.
And the rumors, though, when the Lombardi family acquired Slingerland, all the negative naysayer type folks, they just want us so nobody can bring it back. They're eliminating their competition before it exists. Blah, blah, blah. And all this negative horse hockey, And then I listened to it for a long time, knowing what the actual truth is. You can't say a word. All you can say is wait, because this has all been embargoed. The snare is not embargoed anymore. It's out. It's in the public. They're all sold. They're out there. They're not all sold. I got one. I got one left out of the original 8.
Okay.
And
I still see it on the shelf when I walk in.
3242 Highway 10 East.
Little plug there.
But anyway,
can still get one brand new. I don't even know if you have the boxes for them anymore.
yeah. Well, if you do, don't ever lose this box.
No, because that's when Scott came out. I was like, "You want the original box to go with it?" Like, is that a question? Get that
No,
out here.
you want the box. And the cool thing is, it comes with a really great case, and it has a calfskin head as well.
It comes with it.
Comes with it.
It's a secondary thing. You don't have to keep it on there.
Yeah, the hardware is all nickel plated.
Yep.
So it's period correct. All of the hardware itself is period correct. And this is something I noticed when we had them all on the shelf in the shop, and they're all in a row, and they had the blue and silver Duco.
Yep.
And the black and gold Duco. Right, sitting side by side each other. Both with nickel hardware on it.
Yes.
And I'd look at the blue and silver, and I'd look at that nickel hardware, and I'd go, man, that hardware just glistens silvery gold, or just silver, beautiful silver. Then look at the black and gold one, and it's the same hardware, but it appears to have a slight gold tint.
Oh,
and it's just,
paint,
it's the reflectiveness off the finish of the shell. And so I'm just excited. But here's the next part of the story is, if people remember the return of Rogers, first thing that came back was the Dynasonic snare.
That's right. Yeah.
And they made the Dynasonics correct, period, piece correct. They made everything right, and then they gradually introduced the other drum kits that Rogers makes. Well, Slingerland reintroduction is going to follow the same route. There are drum kits in production right now that will
make the rounds.
Yeah, and it will round out the line.
So can we ask you when they're showing up at the shop?
Well,
or is that still under?
They're going to start shipping in 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4? What, that quick? Already?
Yeah. Well, it's been working on it for years.
It's been a while.
Yeah, for years. But anyway, yeah, they're going to start shipping. I don't know where in queue we are. With the snares, we were among the first, but I imagine it depends on when your email came in, the order line,
Okay.
But we've got 2 drum kits coming. One of them we are going to use as a backline kit. We rent backline at the store. And
thank God.
People who
That's what I'm thinking.
people who want backline want premium backline. They don't.
That's true.
You want the absolute best. So we've used DW collectors. We've used Thomas Star Classic, and now we'll add the Slingerland Radio King to our backline, and we're going to have a 2 up, 2 down, 22-inch kick, all in black diamond pearl. And
It's going to be gorgeous.
of course, I'm going to give myself a real good deal on renting that out when I play with Shackled by Lust.
Yeah.
Well, that kid will be out
As
there.
the owner, there comes perks.
That's right.
You're taking all the risk to do all this stuff. So, yes, I highly agree with that.
So that's the Radio King, and then they've got the what are they called? The Sound King? No, it's another one. They got Radio King, Sound King, and then there's one other, and then it's the intermediate one is also coming.
Put that in the comments below.
Yeah.
Did you come up with that name of the company that they absorbed? I can say it right.
No.
Okay.
But I found some random information on some weird thing. Apparently,
that's correct. That's why.
Well, it was like there was like a boat deal at some point in the early 1900s. The guy was on like a yacht or something, and he got a lot of money somehow just by going to a party. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this drum. Someone really wants to see it.
People want to see the drum.
Okay. Can we see the drum with the cameras where they're at, or how do you want to do this?
I'll come out there if it's a problem.
We'll have some production quality with Nick. And while Nick's coming out there, we'll tell you the first 5 comments Get your own Pirate on Cassette t-shirt. It's double-sided. You can wear it out to any place you want to go. Grant, all we have is extra large, double XL, and small. So if you don't fall within that range, sorry, you just get a big one.
Hey,
so
I'm double XL, and I got the one right there. So,
but here we have the original box that it came in. It's got a little bit of bumps in there, but we're okay. That just gives it a nice story. I'll let Nick do the camera work here. So you want us to keep it like right here?
Don't worry about it.
On top of the box?
I got you.
Okay. We can do that. Just like so.
use that as a table.
Yep. Exactly. You can see Radio King, Slingerland. It's all embroidered right on top of the case.
Okay. Let's start right here.
Okay, the drum key. This was... I can't remember if Scott figured that out, that the key came with it or not while I was standing there, but...
Yeah, key comes with it.
Yep.
And this key is a Slingerland key that is period correct to their 1920s drums.
Exactly.
And I've got one in my... I've got a 100-year-old one in my private
in your
key
collection.
Yeah, but you get a brand new one that is got a little bit of design aesthetic to it.
Oh, sorry, like right there.
Yep.
Beanie.
There we go.
Just eating the mic.
So,
Oh, you can hear the quality of that zipper right there.
so if you got a drum key like that, then my goodness, you got everything, right? And then
We open it up, full padded case.
look at this case. COA, Certificate of Authenticity. It's a little tough to open. You
Yep,
mind if I open it?
Go right ahead. Go right ahead. This is not going anywhere. This is a family heirloom now, Devin.
Right here.
Oh gosh, he has it handwritten in there.
Slingerland Radio King, number 38 of 50.
Yep.
So this was number 38 of this finish.
The only one to come in this area.
And Don Lombardi's signature right there. The next treasure. So Radio King labeled Slingerland Genuine Calfskin Head. And I actually put the calfskin on mine.
And we will as well.
And it is amazing. The head takes more work. You know, it takes more time to tune, and it comes out of tune more easily because it stretches and is affected by the weather more than a synthetic head. But this has got the warmest, butteriest tone.
That's the thing I'm kind of excited to do is that in 8-Side Studios here, where you get all your recording and or whatever else done that has to do with sound. And do you do video as well now?
We're working on it.
Working on video?
Yeah.
Okay, other than podcasting. So we're going to be basically taking samples of this guy, and then she's going back in the case, and then it's just going to go right back to where no one knows where it's going to be until it needs to come out again. But check out this finish. Now here's my story behind this, and I do that drum pad circle over there on Wednesday evenings, 5:30 to 7 o'clock. So come on, come all. It's free. Whatever else, I bring the jokes. You guys just bring the pad, or else you can buy them there. Definitely can purchase pads at the place. But I kept walking past this thing, and I know that the boy was talking. We were talking to Michael about these before they even came in. Hit a little inside baseball there, and granted, I know he's in the Army, he's in the HR now, but it's like coming up with that kind of cash to purchase one of these things is probably going to be a little out of realm. And before that, we were talking about the Rogers Dynasonics, and you had that one brass, I think it was an 8x14 or 10x14, I can't remember. It was just a deep, deep brass one. It was only $400, and I kept heeing and hawing, like, I'll get it next time, I'll get it next time. And then one day it was gone.
Yeah, I think that was a power tone, if I remember right. Oh. Yeah, those are great snares, but yeah,
it made me cry. It really did. And then this thing was just sitting there, and I was just like, oh, that blue is just gorgeous. And you walk past it, and you can just see how it just shines off there, and the lighting in here is just, it's nice and soft.
The beaver tail lugs.
Beaver tail lugs, yeah. 3-point strainer on there.
And then the stick chopper hoops.
Yep. And then this is the 7x14, or is it an 8x14?
This is a 7.
7x14. So the deeper of the shells. They had both of that one and the 5, correct? Was it 5 or 4.5?
5.
5.
5 and 7. And then if you notice, the snares extend past the actual drum itself. And
Right past the bearing edge, yep.
So it's extremely sensitive. You can play this thing.
I've never even noticed the double dampener on the bottom there.
Yeah.
It's a period correct.
Double dampener, period correct.
Nice.
Look at these bearing edges.
I just flipped it up and I saw it said 38 out of 50. I'm like, oh, wow. But there was a sold sign on it. And at one point, I'm just like, oh, that's fine. Then I don't have to think about it. It's already gone. It's already gone. I'll wait till something else comes in. Then I'm realizing that nothing else is coming in. And then I kept telling Scott that, if that guy, or if it just happens to just come for sale, I'd be a buyer. Because I can't let another thing like this just walk away. At least out of my life.
Yeah.
Especially when my boy is so into it, the son and all that. And then Scott calls me on my bluff. Basically, I was hoping for months to go. He gets me on a Monday. It's just like, hey, the guy had to back out of it. You still wanted that? And I'm just like, yes.
Yeah. And the guy.
And it hurt a little bit.
It's worked out fortuitously, I think, for all of us, because the guy really wanted the drum, and he bought it and, put some money down. Yep. And then I don't want to get into too much, but he ended up with this really serious health problems of his mom's, and he had to become a caregiver rather than
sorry to hear that.
Working guy, and he just couldn't handle it. And when we offered to let him out, he was very, very grateful.
I suppose that was probably some stress.
Yeah, that was adding stress to him, and so we managed to salvage the sale and get you the drum, and
I highly appreciate it. Yeah, I really do. So no, this thing definitely in a good home. The voice of God, Nick, and myself will be recording this guy in this actual room, I'm sure, unless you want to do it in the wet room. Okay. We'll make a video of it and everything else. We'll post that all up and everything. So, yeah.
Well, and just know there's drum sets on the way.
There is.
There's the ability, if anybody wants to use this for a big show or in a recording, just get a hold of us. You don't have to buy the kit. You can rent it.
There you go, backline,
and we'll get you
Radio King
get you fixed up.
Oh my gosh,
with the best in the world. Yeah. So this has just been a great thing for me, because Slingerland was my first love in drums, and I played that Black Diamond Pearl kit for a long time, and then I sold it. And then I started playing again. I thought, I never, ever should have sold that. Oh. I mean, I literally saw similar kits going for 10 times what I sold mine for. But then I went into
I believe it.
I went into a musical round, and you mentioned the purple one. We're going to get really in a lot of trouble because it's lavender.
Oh no!
In the catalog,
lavender flame.
It's lavender satin
They're coming
flame.
after us now. Go ahead, spread the hate.
And I called them purple satin flame for years. Oh. And in Slingerland, vintage Slingerland drum group, I mentioned my purple satin flames. Oh my God!
Flame war would have came up.
Yeah,
pun intended.
I was just torched in there, and so. I remember now it is lavender.
Well, at least you got that corrected on record.
But I found a double bass, basically the same kit except in lavender instead of Black Diamond Pearl at a music around, and I said, I want to buy this drum set, and they said no. I said, what? What do you mean? This is your business. How come you're not selling it? They said it matches our store colors. We're going to keep it as a store kit. So I'm like, okay. So for the next year, every time I went in, I said, I want to buy that drum set. And no, but they'd never get it restored or set up. Finally,
seriously?
Yeah. So
just
finally,
sat in the back,
it
huh?
just sat there. And finally, I came in one day and they said, it's your lucky day. And I go, why? And they said, well, we decided to sell you these drums. And I said, great. I said, I don't know if it's your lucky day. And they said, why? And I said, I don't have any money.
Oh,
I mean, I wanted
How did we
them,
circle this square, yeah.
you know, and they laughed and they said, "Don't worry, we know you. Take them home."
seriously?
And
The rapport right there.
they sent them
Wow.
home, and 6 weeks later, I paid for them. You know,
Yeah.
and I was excited, and I played those drums for a couple decades in town here in Wart Melon.
Oh, Warp Melon, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those posters all over the place.
Blues rock and stuff, and they had those deep, low pitched toms, and I mean they sounded huge. They were great, and I still have them, and I modified them a bit, you know, for modern playing stuff, and now I'm getting them back to all original. I saved all the original pieces off of them, of course.
Smart, very
So
smart.
it's-
Thinking ahead on that one.
And now I'm thinking, yeah, I told myself, I'll get these all restored and sell them. And now I'm telling myself, get these all restored and it'll be the crowning piece in my collection.
Now you can put it out on the showroom floor with the velvet ropes around there. Its own touch.
Exactly. But that lavender satin flame finish they only did from 1968 to 1970. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of Slingerland's.
So I say it's worth more in my
Heyday period.
house. It is. No, the only Slingerland kit I've ever owned. I've had a couple of snare drums back in the day, and actually the boys bought a bunch of like the steel. I think we have one brass in the basement, but had the, if you remember the stainless steel covering ones from the late 70s, mid to late 70s, it was still the black badge. And I think I got like for $100 or something. You know, just one of those that steals. You couldn't leave it there.
Yeah.
But it was missing all the bottom hardware because they did in the late 70s, early 80s, so they can get that big concert tom sound out of it. And I loaned it to a friend while I was my second time in high school and college. And he would set it up, and they were, for his band, they're working on it out of someone's garage from apartment garage. And then it was like months go by and you just don't hear from them anymore. And you're just like, hey, what happened to that kit? And it's like, oh, yeah, I probably should go get that back. And then the guy wasn't living there anymore, and the kit was just gone.
It was just gone.
It was gone. It was goodbye. So,
Well, I hope at least whoever ended up with it knows what they have and appreciates
I
it.
haven't seen it since, so
Yeah.
hope they appreciate it. I really appreciate this. Really appreciate you being on here, especially talking about this thing. This is great. And this is going to be on the internet forever and ever and ever. So,
Right on. You know what? I'm going to have Don Lombardi watch your podcast.
oh my gosh.
I mean, I can't make him watch it or promise you that he will, but he's going to know about this
Mr.
podcast.
Lombardi, it would be an honor and a privilege. It really would be.
Yeah.
So, especially if you sign something below.
There you go.
Never asking for more.
That's right. Well, I don't know Lombardi well at all. I just met him that one
Still, these are gorgeous.
two-day meeting, and I found him and his sons to be, or his son and his grandson to be, just so warm and gracious and
That's just great to hear.
genuinely committed to the art of drums and drumming.
It's great to hear. I don't even want to touch it. It's just like it's here.
Yeah.
It's great. It's awesome. They're already going up in value.
Yeah.
I was checking that. I was just like, what? Already? Like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's just cool.
Well, you know, the one we sent to Switzerland took forever to get there.
Oh, man. But that made people
but
nervous.
you could track it, though. You
Yeah.
always knew where it was. And the owner, the purchaser, is just like, no worries. He's just thrilled that he got his hands on one. And there's a lot of other people that have asked about him again. Sorry,
They're gone,
they're gone. And, you know,
and you can't have mine.
you can't have mine. Exactly. I'll let you come over and hit it, but that's as far as it goes.
And you have one on your shelf, and then there's some. Wasn't there other people in town that purchased some? I don't think we name names, but
there's a couple. There's this one and mine, and I think there's maybe one or two more, but most of them went all over the place.
Went somewhere else, but that's okay.
Yeah. One's in Chicago, I remember that.
Where were these made? That was the question I was going to ask you.
Well, they're made in Oxnard, California.
Okay.
Yeah.
So straight out of California. So USA made.
Yep.
You know, I kept wondering about that.
The ply kits will be Asian made.
Okay.
But, DW, everything but their top end is Asian made. And the same is true of Gretsch, and the same is true of Pearl, and the same is true of everybody. Some of the drums are made here, but some are made in Taiwan. And this is what I say about people who object to Chinese or Taiwanese manufacturing, Asian manufacturing. They're experts at manufacturing in all those factories, and they'll build anything exactly the way you order it to be built. So if you're getting a Chinese-built product that's crap, it's because the American company who commissioned it to be built said, yeah, we need cheap as their top consideration. But you take like a DW Design Series drum set, it's a work of art. It's also made in Taiwan. So, they make what they're hired to make, those factories. And there's nothing wrong with that manufacturing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to get into all the AI and all the fun stuff that's been coming up, but I'm pretty sure we've been going for over an hour here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we have.
And this is just a great way to go out on, especially with all that. So thanks for being back on again, Mr. Carbone. That's great.
Right on.
So thank you. Thank you for letting me purchase this drum from you, and coming in and doing that little drum pad thing. That, I don't know. To me, that was great. And I walked in there, and you guys said, absolutely. And I'm like, well, that was way too easy.
We're all about that. We're all about that.
So that's fun, too. So there again, if you have some time on a Wednesday night, you want to work your hands up a little bit, that's what we're there for. And also, Pirate on Cassette be playing my 50th birthday bash here this Friday at Specs Bar and Grill. Oh, is it Grill? Specs Bar.
It's a grill.
On 25th in Maine. So that music starts at 8:30. We'll take Polaroids and do all sorts of fun stuff. I'm going to do a tenor solo there under black light. So, we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it'll be kind of fun. So, and some water. But you got to remember, if your drummer or your bass player has more charisma than your front man, your band may be in trouble. Well, that's why my bands are doing just fine. So, until next time.